This may come as a surprise to some, but flat earthers have been putting out an amazing amount of evidence for their flat earth model that is not easy to dismiss out of hand. In fact, in a debate with Mark Sargent, one of the foremost flat earthers of our day, we can hear astrophysicist Dr. Jeff Zweerink make that concession.
And so, Dr. Jeff, you believe the Earth is round.
I do, yes.
And are you 100% sure the Earth is round?
To the best I can measure it, yes.
You don't believe it's flat at all?
I do not, no.
When did you hear that the Earth was flat, and what was your first impression when you heard it?
I guess the first time I heard it, I mean, you know, I hear lots of things, and so I was like, oh, kind of interesting. I don't know why somebody would think that, or so I've kind of looked at it a little bit. And what I find interesting, if I'm honest about it, when you first start looking at some of the things, the evidence they put out is kind of compelling and hard to wrestle with at some of it.
Nevertheless, according to Dr. Zweerink, upon reflection, he found those same flat earth arguments to be unconvincing. Even more interesting is what this highly educated astrophysicist has to say later in the same debate with Mark Sargent.
Why wouldn't people be attracted to this?
Well, and it may be, and I'll say straight off the top, I can't prove the Earth is not flat. In the sense that if we're talking prove 100% equivocally, there's no way I can get around. I mean, I've listened to what you say.
Sure.
And you provide a case for a flat Earth.
Right.
So to the extent someone can provide a case for a flat Earth, I can't prove that it's 100% wrong.
Right.
Now, this is the challenge I have, or why I wrestle strongly with it, is that one, there's a lot of data that personally I have, as well as scientifically I have, that just points to the Earth being round.
Though Dr. Zweerink had become unconvinced by the flat earth arguments he had analyzed, that does not necessarily mean that the flat earth hypothesis is wrong. But the fact that he then acknowledged that he had no definitive proof that the earth cannot be flat does not necessarily mean that the flat earth hypothesis is right either. Actually, I'm convinced that it is wrong, and both can be and has been disproven. In fact, that is exactly what I have done. How, you ask? Well, here's how. I will start by observing that I am convinced that almost each person watching this video knows that all it actually takes is one piece of irrefutable evidence to disprove any hypothesis. And I have that one piece of irrefutable evidence concerning the flat Earth. This evidence that I have proves beyond a doubt that the Earth is not flat. In fact, it actually proves that the surface of the Earth is curved. And it is curved in such a way that only a properly scaled down globe such as the one I've been using can accurately model that curvature. Also, this evidence totally does away with Rob Skiba's complaint in late 2018.
Number 9, please realize you don't have a working map or model either. Those of you in the globe camp. I mean, you can just go look into this. You guys got well over 200 projection maps. You say, well, yeah, of course, Rob, that's what happens when you try to take a spherical object and map it out on a 2D map. Well, that's not my problem. I don't believe the Earth's a ball. That's your problem. But you're coming at me and others and saying, well, show us a map, show us the model. Well, you don't have a map. You've had 2,500 years and you still don't have a map, right? We believe the Earth's a globe since Pythagoras and Eratosthenes. Okay, great. You've had 2,500 years. You can't get a map right yet?
I presented enough evidence to you, Rob, when we met at the Edmonton Flat Earth Conference to prove that we in the Globe Camp have the necessary facts to show that the Earth is a globe, and I'm convinced that you still have no rebuttal to the evidence I presented. If you do, please prove me wrong. I've provided all of the data for your perusal in the videos linked below, and I'm willing to debate you on this evidence at any time. I will answer your claim that we in the Globe Camp, quote, don't have a working map or model either, unquote, in two different ways. The first way I will answer your claim is to show you in this video a summary of my most extraordinary yet simple experiment, the one that I've presented in detail in my 2 epic battle videos, which you can access right now by clicking on the notification that you see at the top right corner of this video. The second way I will answer your claim is to show you in my next video some simple observational logic as it relates to everyday map usage. The evidence I have presents itself in the application of a data set of very simple measurements taken at various locations all over the surface of the Earth. Each entry in that data set shows the distance as a crow flies between one point on the surface of the Earth and another. These distances are always across a land surface except for the most northerly east-west stretch, which was all I could find that far north, and since it was the only way I could find to get us north of the Arctic Circle, I thought it best to include it in spite of that one drawback. To keep my presentation as simple as possible, I made sure that the distances measured were either directly north and south of each other or directly east and west of each other. I also made sure that each distance used in my data set was as close to 2,100 miles in length as possible. This data set was collected independent of reference to either a spherical or flat model, and the data reflects known distances as the crow flies above the surface of the Earth. The slightly longer road distances shown in the screenshots are there for anyone who has driven those distances or is looking at a road map, since some of the routes or portions thereof in my dataset are being used and verified daily by many people. I plotted this data on both a globe and a flat Earth model. The globe model I used was 16 inches in diameter. Therefore, each inch represents 500 miles. When I used it to plot all the locations and distances in my dataset, I always found that the distances that I plotted were very accurately represented. For instance, any two places that were approximately 2,100 miles apart measured approximately 4 1/5 inches on my globe, no matter where they were located. I used that same dataset to plot the very same locations and distances on a copy of the most popular flat Earth model, which is the North Polar Azimuthal Equidistant Projection. I found that this model always accurately represented locations and distances when they were plotted directly north and south of each other, but always misrepresented locations and distances when they were plotted east and west of each other. So I found that the dataset works extremely well on a globe model in all plotted directions, but only works on the North Polar Azimuthal Equidistant model when the measuring was done directly north and south. It failed in the exact way I had expected on the flat Earth model in an east-west direction. In other words, there was little distortion near the North Pole, but there was a predictably increasing amount of distortion the further south the measurements were mapped. The end result was that the azimuthal equidistant model was shown to fail in the exact way that mathematicians easily predict when they consider the particular distortion that takes place when a globe is flattened in the specific manner that produces this model. This points to the fact that the dataset I have created can also be applied to testing the accuracy of any other model of the Earth. Predictions can also be made concerning the nature of the distortion that each model presents, since each unique model is a distinct representation of the way that a globe has been flattened. I've taken some time to use this dataset to also check distances and directions on a number of other flat Earth models, and have yet to find one that does not present major distortions in one way or another. And each model that I looked at presented the very type of distortion that such a configuration of a flattened globe would yield. If you're interested in further details concerning my collection and use of the data presented here, they are all to be found in the videos to which I've provided links below. Be sure to tell me what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell if you are interested in being alerted to all of my upcoming content as soon as it is posted online. Thank you very much for listening.